In the small village of Tomba, where the river sang songs of fishermen's paddles and the air smelt of smoked fish and fresh palm wine, Abiye lived with her parents in a tiny thatched house. Their home sat close to the river, where her father, Pa Abi, cast his nets daily, hoping for a big catch. Her mother, Mama Abi, sold roasted plantains and groundnuts at the village square. Abiye, their only child, had finished secondary school but had no means to continue her education. This didn't stop her from being the most hardworking girl in Tomba. She fetched water for the elderly, ran errands for the village head's wife, and was known for her quick wits. One of the people she helped often was Madam T, a young woman who ran the busiest pepper soup joint in the village. Her goat meat pepper soup could bring a grown man to tears, not just because of the spice, but because of how good it tasted. Madam T had a good customer named Buma. He was a copper who came to serve in Tomba all the way from Port Harcourt. He picked interest in Abiye and told Madam T about it. Madam T was so happy. Buma, Abiye is more useful than 3 ladies combined, she has said, trying to sell Abiye positively and also make the copper see reasons he should marry her. She can cook, she can sweep, and most importantly, she will not waste your money on artificial nails like those city girls. Buma, knowing that there was no winning an argument with Madam T's side. Okay, let me meet her first. The next day, Madam T sent Abiye to bring fresh fish to her shop, just at the exact time the copper was available. Curious Buma sat there pretending to be focused on his phone. Good afternoon, sir, Abiye greeted, bowing slightly. Call me Buma or Copper. I am not that old, Biko. Abiye giggled, and from there, they had a conversation for the first time. When she left, Madam T walked in smiling. So, Copper, what do you think of Abiye? He rubbed his head and replied, She seems nice, but I think I would like to take my time because marriage is not like frying akara. You don't just wake up and dive into it. Madam T folded her arms, still determined to let the ship sail. Did you not see her waist? Strong like a fisherman's net. You think I, Madam T, will want you to marry anyhow, girl? Buma had no words, but he was determined not to rush things. As time went on, Abiye agreed to be his girl. Buma loved her and was determined not to touch her until their wedding night. After his service year, he took her along to Port Harcourt, making sure that they didn't stay in the same room. Everything was sweet in the beginning. Abiye on her part loved Port Harcourt because her life became different. The air smelt different instead of fresh river breeze, and the streets were busy with shouting bus conductors. Buma did his best to make her comfortable. He worked hard, going to the refinery to hustle, while Abiye was so lucky to secure a job in a mall nearby and also registered for weekend jam lessons. But as time passed, she began to feel out of place. The city women dressed differently, spoke with a different accent, and seemed to have more fun. Then she met Felicia and Oge, 2 city girls with sharp tongues and sharper nails. They also worked at the mall and promised to upgrade her lifestyle. Abiye, you are in the city now. You can't be dressing like the village headmaster's wife. Look at your dress. It is so free, like you are hiding a sack of garri inside. At first, Abiye laughed it off, but slowly there was guts to her. She began asking Buma for more money. I need to buy some textbooks and past questions. Didn't I just give you money last week? Buma asked. Abiye's countenance changed. Buma, wanting to support her dreams, gave her the money, but unknown to him, the book she was buying was actually handbags and fancy wigs. Then things got worse. Abiye started coming home later than usual. Account balancing and traffic, she would say. Buma didn't want to seem like an overprotective guy, so he said nothing. But the truth? The only thing Abiye was doing was learning how to slay. One Sunday evening, her friends came over. Abiye, who is this guy? Felicia asked, eyeing Buma. He's my cousin, Abiye replied. Buma, who was coming from a quick hustle from the refinery, froze. He just greeted and walked into his room. He only heard the guests laughing out loud. He sat quiet, but inside something had cracked. As they left, he quickly walked out, asking Abiye why he called him his cousin. She rolled her eyes and then replied, "It's just talk now. You know these city people before they begin to call me a village champion." "A village champion?" Buma asked with a sharp voice. Abiye sighed. "Please, not now. I am tired. Tomorrow is another work day and I need to rest." Buma wanted to argue, but he held his tongue. "Maybe I need a better job," he muttered to himself, because he was always looking dirty with the kind of job he was doing. And just maybe that's why Abiye wasn't proud of him. Luckily for him, after several attempts, he secured a direct job in the refinery. He was assigned to an office, but he never mentioned it to Abiye. One day, he dropped her off at the mall. He met Abiye's supervisor and she introduced him as his driver. Chai! Buma's heart stopped. His chest tightened and his vision blurred. Me, driver. The woman I brought from the village called me a driver? He swallowed the lump in his throat and drove off. Throughout that day, he wasn't himself at all. When Abiye finally got home, smiling as if nothing had happened, Buma turned to her and asked gently, "Who am I to you?" Abiye waved a hand. "I beg, not this night. I am already stressed." Buma nodded slowly. Something inside him had changed, but he said nothing. He walked straight to his room and laid in bed staring at the ceiling. His heart was heavy and his mind replayed the moments Abiye called him her driver. The woman he had loved, the woman he had sacrificed so much for, was now embarrassed by him. He sighed deeply and shut his eyes, but sleep refused to come. The next morning, he woke up early as usual and prepared breakfast. He placed a plate of steaming yam and egg sauce on the table and called out, "Abiye, food is ready." Abiye, now used to eating out with her new friends, barely acknowledged him. She scrolled through her phone and muttered, "I'm not hungry." Buma's heart tightened. It was a simple thing, but it hurt. The woman who once appreciated even the smallest efforts now barely noticed him. He sat down and forced himself to eat, even though he had lost his appetite. A few weeks later, Abiye got admitted into weekend program and secured a better job with the help of her friends. She came home excited that evening, her eyes shining with pride. "B, I got a better job. I am going to be earning more money now." Buma smiled genuinely. He had always wanted the best for her. "That's wonderful, my girl. I am so proud of you." Abiye barely heard him. She was already typing on her phone, probably chatting with her friends. Buma ignored the sting he felt and focused on being happy for her. Maybe, just maybe, things will get better now. But instead, things got worse. With her new job came a new version of Abiye. She started coming home late, saying she had work meetings. She changed the way she dressed. Her once simple and modest clothes were replaced with expensive outfits. Buma noticed that even the way she spoke changed. She sounded different, almost like the city girls she once criticized. One evening, Buma was still at work when his friend Priye called him. Buma, I need to tell you something, he began hesitantly. What is it? Buma asked. Priye lowered his voice significantly. I saw Abiye today with another man. Buma's stomach dropped. He forced a smile. Priye, you worry too much. She works in another place now. She meets people every day due to the nature of her new job. Priye disagreed. This is different, my brother. They were in a fancy restaurant laughing and drinking wine. The way she looked at him, it wasn't just an official meeting. Buma felt like the air had been knocked out of his lungs. He swallowed hard and forced himself to stay calm. Maybe it's just a colleague. Priye sighed. Maybe, but just be careful, my brother. Open your eyes. That night, Buma stayed up waiting for Abiye to return. She finally walked in around 11 p.m. looking tired but still glowing from her evening. Where have you been? Buma asked, his voice calm but firm. Work, she replied flatly, kicking off her high heels. Work? By this time of the night? Priye said he saw you at a restaurant with a man. Abiye froze for a second but recovered quickly. Buma. Are you seriously listening to gossip? What will then happen if we get married? It was just a work dinner. My boss invited me. Buma looked at her closely, searching for the girl he fell in love with, but she was no longer there. You didn't even call to tell me you would be late, he said, his voice quieter now. Abiye sighed dramatically. Buma, must I tell you everything? You don't owe me now. I work and I have a life. I am tired of this conversation. With that, she walked into her bedroom, leaving Buma standing alone in the living room. Days turned into weeks, and Buma noticed more changes. Abiye no longer cooked for him, and she barely wants to sit and have a conversation with him. He wasn't comfortable, and he was determined to make things return to normal. One day, he decided to surprise her at work. He bought her favorite jollof rice and suya from the favorite street vendor. He imagined her smiling and thanking him just like old times. But when he arrived, the security guard stopped him. Excuse me, sir. Who are you here to see? Buma smiled. My fiancée, Abiye. She works here, he replied. The guard looked at him strangely. Madam Abiye. Yes, Buma replied proudly. The guard hesitated, then said, Wait here. A few minutes later, Abiye walked out looking furious. What are you doing here, Buma? I brought you lunch, he said, holding up the bag of food. Abiye looked around, clearly embarrassed. You should have called me. You don't need to come here. Buma felt something break inside him. Are you ashamed of me? Don't I look good enough for you? She sighed. Buma, this is not the issue and you know it. You are trying to make a mountain hill out of nothing. I work in a corporate office now and you know it's a miracle that I work here. You can't just show up like this. It's unprofessional. Unless you are telling me that you want them to sack me. Buma clenched his jaw. I see. He handed her the food. Enjoy your lunch, he said quietly and walked away. That night, she didn't come home. She sent a short text, staying at a friend's place. Don't wait up, and that's all. Buma stared at the message, his heart pounding. He knew things would never be the same again. The next morning, she walked in, acting like nothing had happened. She greeted Buma casually, but he didn't respond. Why are you ignoring me? She asked, rolling her eyes. Buma looked at her with sadness. Abi, do you still love me? She laughed awkwardly. What kind of question is that? Just answer me, Buma said, his voice steady. She hesitated. Buma, love is complicated. We have grown different. Buma nodded slowly. He had his answer. That evening, as Abiye scrolled through her phone, a message popped up. Baby, last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again. Buma saw it. At this time, he didn't ignore it. He stood behind her, staring at her phone screen as if it had personally insulted his entire lineage. He blinked once. He blinked twice. Maybe his eyes were deceiving him. Maybe the word baby was the new way bosses addressed their employees in Port Harcourt. Maybe last night was amazing, referred to an all-night strategy meeting where they passionately discussed spreadsheets. He looked at Abiye, who was still scrolling through Instagram, completely unaware that her marital career was about to suffer a serious blow. Buma cleared his throat. Abiye, who is baby? She didn't even look up. What are you talking about? Buma walked up to her. I read the message. Who is baby? The one who had an amazing night with you. Now Abiye was interested. Her eyes widened for a split second before she expertly masked it with a laugh so fake that even a child would tell she was overreacting. Oh, that? She waved her hand. That's just my colleague. We call each other cute names for fun. You know now, all these office banters. Buma nodded slowly, processing this information. Ah, I see. So if I go to your office and call your boss Sugar Plum, nobody will sack me. Abiye sighed dramatically. Buma, stop being childish. Childish? Buma asked, placing a hand on his chest. Me, the man who brought you from the village, registered jam for you, and now you are in part-time program in Uniport. I have been cooking for you, washing your clothes, tolerating your late nights. The same man you called cousin and driver in public. Now I am being childish. Abiye rolled her eyes. I don't have time for this. She got up and walked into her bedroom, leaving Buma sitting on the couch, shaking his head. Maybe it's time to deal with you before sending you back from where I picked you from, he finally said. The next morning, he woke up tired. He knew Abiye had changed, but now, this was beyond change. This was full-blown metamorphosis. It was time for drastic action. If she could embarrass him without thinking twice of all he had done, then it's time to focus on himself and let her be. He came up with a plan, a terrible, brilliant, slightly stupid plan. He put on his finest outfits to work, thanking God that he kept the bed undefiled and hasn't married her yet. He stopped talking to her and lived as though she doesn't exist. Abiye noticed his drastic change towards her and began to make intentional moves to restore the relationship to how it was. The more she tried, the more distance Buma created, and this too slipped from her eyes. But for Buma, he began to sleep like a baby because for the first time in months, he felt like he had taken back a little of his dignity. One day, Abiye walked out of her room with a serious expression. Buma, We need to talk. What is it? He asked with all seriousness. She folded her hands. This isn't a joke anymore. I am gradually losing my mind. I think we need some time apart. I don't want to die in silence. Buma sat up. Time apart? How? I brought you to Port Harcourt, so where do you want to go to? I would have sent you back a long time ago, but my conscience wouldn't allow me because you were schooling. Abiye sighed. I appreciate it, but this whole thing isn't working anymore. Maybe some space will help us figure things out. Maybe we'll miss ourselves and realize how important we are to each other. Buma stared at her for a long moment. Then he nodded. All right. You want space, right? Fine, but we have to do it in the right way. Abiye frowned. What do you mean? Buma stood up and stretched dramatically. If you want to pack, then you will have to sign so that my good intentions will not land me into trouble in the nearest future. He went inside, brought out a sheet of paper and wrote, I, Abiye, confirms that Buma brought me to Port Harcourt on a good ground as his fiancé with the intention to get married to me. But my Ojukokoro scattered his good plan. If anything happens to me, I, Abiye, will be held accountable for my own actions, not Buma. Please sign, Buma demanded. What? Abiye blinked. Yes, so Buma replied. Since you want space and have suddenly forgotten how you were before I picked you up, please sign. It is often said that the loyalty of a poor man is proudly sponsored by hunger. I think I understand better now. Madam, please sign. Abiye scoffed. This is childish. Exactly, oh, Madam Adultish. This my so-called childish art will save me from a lot of troubles tomorrow. I beg, sign. For the first time in months, Abiye didn't have a response. She signed sharply and walked away, shaking her head. As for Buma, he went to the kitchen, made breakfast for himself, and enjoyed every single bite because for once, the drama was delicious. Buma took what Abiye said as a divine sign. If a man is abandoned, should he cry? No, he should upgrade. So he decided it was time for a major transformation. First, he walked into a barber shop and told the barber to give him a haircut that would make him look good. The barber nodded like he understood the assignment. An hour later, he walked out with a fade so fresh. His bears were lined up like he had just been drafted into the Premier League. He looked in the mirror and nodded to himself. If heartbreak was the disease, fresh looks were the cure. Next, he needed clothes. He went to a boutique and stood there looking around like an undercover billionaire. The shop attendant, a young lady, smiled at him. Sir, are you looking for something specific? Yes, Buma said, stroking his beard. Give me outfits that screams, I am now an upgraded man. The lady laughed and brought out designer shirts, crisp trousers, and even wristwatch. Buma spent more than he should have, but when he stepped out of that shop, he looked like the kind of man who had just regained freedom. He checked himself in the mirror again. See fine man now. Love be dey carry me go where I no know. He officially entered the soft life gang. He started snapping pictures and posting. One evening, he went to a restaurant with Jemima, his old friend from the university who had just returned from Canada. She was tall, elegant, and had a type of glow that made people ask, "Which cream do you use?" The moment he walked into the restaurant holding Jemima's hand and laughing loudly. Coincidentally, Abiye was at the restaurant. Her eyes widened. Her jaw dropped. For a moment, she looked like someone had pressed pause on her life. Buma turned, acting surprised. Oh, wow, Abiye, I didn't see you there. Abiye's voice was dangerously calm. Who is this? Jemima smiled sweetly. Oh, I am Jemima, Buma's very close friend. Buma chuckled. Very, very close. Abiye's nostrils flared. Jemima, do you mind giving us a moment? Jemima, playing her role perfectly, touched Buma's chest and whispered, Don't take too long, babe. Then she walked out, leaving behind a trail of expensive perfume and chattered egos. Abiye turned to Buma. So this is your plan, right? Trying to make me jealous. Buma gasped dramatically. Me? Make you jealous? Ah, no. I thought we were taking time apart. Abi, have you changed your mind? Abiye clenched her teeth. Buma, be serious. He smiled. Oh, I am serious. In fact, I am so serious that I have a date with me here. Same date that I've always wanted us to go to, but you never had time for it. Abiye stared at him speechless. Her pride wouldn't let her admit it, but she was jealous. Buma patted her shoulder. Anyway, my dear ex, let me not waste your time. Have a lovely day. And with that, he walked away like a king, leaving Abiye sitting there looking like a character in a Heartbreak Playlist music video. She sat frozen, watching Buma walk away like he was the chairman of men that cannot be played with. Her mind was racing. Buma, my own Buma, looking so sharp, holding hands with a woman that looks like she was dipped in premium honey. No, this is unacceptable. For the first time, regret began to bite her like a mosquito trapped in a small room. Later that night, Buma's phone buzzed. A message from Abiye. Hey, Buma, can we talk, please? Buma looked at the message and chuckled. This life is funny, oh. Just few days ago, this same woman told me she needed time to think. Now, she wants us to talk. Okay, oh, he replied. Sorry, hope all is well. He added a smiling face emoji. He knew that smiling face would burn her soul. She responded almost immediately. It's important. I won't take much of your time. Buma sighed. Should I go? Should I ignore her? Then he remembered the international package heartbreak conference she had given him and decided, why not? Let her have a feel of her own dish. He walked into the place where they had agreed to meet. He had never seen Abiye this serious before. She was fiddling with her straw, her eyes darting around nervously. He sat down, crossed his legs like a Yoruba demon and smiled. Abiye, to what do I owe this urgent meeting? She hesitated before speaking. Buma, I know I have wronged you deeply. I have acted worse than Judas in the Bible. I made a huge mistake. I am sincerely sorry. Buma blinked. Abiye continued. I thought I needed space, but seeing you today made me realize something, that I miss you. Buma leaned back. Oh, is it me you miss? Or is it that you saw me holding a beautiful woman and realized you fumbled? Abiye exhaled sharply. Okay, fine. Maybe a bit of both. Buma nodded like someone collecting offering. Go on. Abiye bit her lip, then reached out for his hand. I want us to try again. I know I hurt you, but can we start all over? Like Abiye the village girl and Copper Buma. Buma looked at her hand on his and smiled. Then very gently he slid his hand out of hers. Ah, Abiye, he said, shaking his head. You are very wicked, oh. She frowned and asked, What do you mean? Buma sat up, placed his hands on the table and spoke slowly. You see, when you left me, I entered my glow-up era. And in this era, I have realized that I too deserve better. In fact, I am now a high-value man. I was carried away by love. I brought myself low, not minding that I was a graduate and you an SSC holder. I picked you up from your village, brought you to the city. You didn't even stay up to a year. You brought out your real character. I waited for you to change because love, they say, is patience. But Abiye, you cheated and you rubbed it on my face. Gentility is not stupidity. Thank God I wasn't in a rush to pay your dowry. I would have been regretting by now. I have learned that love should not be one-sided suffering. Abiye looked sad. I am so sorry, Buma. I sincerely don't know what came over me. Please forgive me. Buma sighed dramatically, placed a hand on his chest and said, My dear, let me put it like this. I know they do again. Abiye gasped. Buma, please, I am sorry. I promise to be better this time. He stood up, dragged his expensive new shirt, and threw one last spitting look at her. Abiye, life is too short to be a recycled fiance. I wish you well, truly. But me, I have grown up. And with that, he walked away. As the door shut behind him, he took a deep breath, inhaled the fresh scent of victory. Then with the confidence of a man who has survived heartbreak, looking finer, richer and wiser, he walked into his house, leaving Abiye to drown in her own regrets. After several months, he met his soulmate, someone who treated him like a king, and Abiye on her part lived in regret all her life because she knew she lost a gold in Buma. Hey, African Tales by Karma Tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. Please make use of this story in the best way you can, as it is often said that one does not value what he or she has until he loses it. Cherish that gold you have. It may be relationship, career, or what have you. Please value it, protect it, and don't be like Abiye in the story. Please give the story a thumbs up and share out to your loved ones. Subscribe if you have not. Until I bring another exciting story your way, it is a goodbye from here, and God bless you.